Hi, and welcome to part 2 of the terrain lecture. Okay, the first thing you're going to notice is that I changed the hard on the eyes green grid to a nice soft sort of grey now, and it's just not so hard on the eyes, much easier to see, which is cool. And okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start carving out our terrain in the square. So if you go to your map plane and switch that back on, there's something I want you to do to this. If you click on the material here, down here, just click once. Up in render mode, I want you to make it fade. So drop down, click on fade, and then next to the albedo you'll see this white box. Click on that, and where it says alpha A, which is alpha, I want you to slide it down, bring it on down until we can see both the terrain and the map plane together. And we'll be going in and out and playing with this, so up down, so I shouldn't worry about it too much, but just so you can see through it, terrain underneath, that would be cool. So once you've done that, just make sure it's just make sure it's fade, and you bring the alpha down, close that like so, click on your terrain again, and now we can sort of faintly see where things are. You can see my path comes in here. This is the flatter area where my hut's going to dip down. If you come out, you'll see it dips down all the way around here and right into there where the path comes in, is at its lowest point. So let's start painting. So if you go to your, now we can do one or two things. We can lower it, or we can bring it up around the outside. I think we should do a bit of both, so I would suggest let's just experiment with the brush size. So we've got so if we go on raise lower terrain, you've got various brushes here we can use, quite harsh brushes. Control Z is undo, just like in Max. Control Z. So we can change the brush size by just sliding this up and down, like so. Control Z, and you'll notice here it says click to raise, hold down shift to lower. So if I hold down shift, down it goes like so, which is pretty cool. We don't want it to be that harsh, so undo that. Okay, so just take our brush down. I like this one here because it's much softer around the edge. Yes, much better. Gives you much, for hills and rolling terrain, it's much better to have a sort of soft edge like that. If you want something a bit more harsh, that's quite cool. If you want something a bit random, you can use one of these and get some spiky, bumpy terrain, which is quite cool. We may very well use that a little bit. So that's the basics. So let's go back here. Let's just increase that a little bit. It's a bit too faint. There you go. Now I can see a bit more. Okay, so let's just start off by lowering the path a little bit. terrain, lower, hold down shift, and let's just start taking this down. Make sure your opacity is really your strength of if I make it really strong, it just goes crazy. Oops, just like that. If I hold shift and do that, it makes a huge hole very quickly. If I can have it quite low, like 1, it does it a lot more gentle, and that's what we want. So hold down shift to lower, and let's just start lowering our path here. Yeah, don't worry about this, we can smooth it off in a minute. You know, we're not going to do a lot of this, but feel free if you want to do the rest of the terrain. You know, you can just go around and you can do it all if you want to. So that's going to go out there. Right, if I remember rightly, it goes up over that side. The other thing to do is look back at the concept art and just keep checking that too. So if we bring that on the screen and have a look at that, like so, you can see just beyond the steps here it goes up, and the image slopes down into this dip where the hut is, and it sort of goes up here on the side. So it's kind of in a little bowl of its own, and it's gently slopes up at the back there. So that's what we'll try and achieve. So just beyond where the steps are going to be, let's just make some marks here for a minute. So all around there is where we want that to be. Yeah, oops, not too much. Just make a brush size a little bit bigger there. Yeah, we can smooth this out after. So that's going to go up there. We've already gone down a little bit. Not too far. Just bring it up around here. And this is where our big tree is going to go on the cord, which we can place in a minute just to get a good reference marker. Let's just turn off our map plane and have a look at that. Okay. Right, so over here, back to terrain, back to here. Let's just go on here and let's hold down shift and take our marking for that height, which is 153.2. So if you notice this number change, if you hold down shift and click, it shows you what the height of the terrain. If we click on that, 152. So every time I brush it, it won't go any higher than that, which is pretty handy actually. So we'll just paint all around here that kind of height. We can, like I said, don't worry about it too much at this stage, because we can we'll go in and sort of soften it all up and change it. We can modify it. That's the whole point of doing this sort of scene, this box scene. Although this is terrain, this terrain we'll keep. Okay, now just get the base sort of flattened out a bit. There we go. All I did there was select the base level where I want it to be, and yeah, just get that right, and we'll get this path roughly right coming out of here. So it flattens it out a bit. Don't worry, like I say, we'll fix it and we'll get that height. Then shift. So we're going to bring it up a bit here. And over there as well, second tree is going to be, so we've got it to come up the back. So if we look at our thing, see this bit starts to slope up here and up towards the back of the hut. And that's what we're going to try and achieve. Yeah. So you can see now why the hut is elevated. Just take that brush down slightly. It doesn't have to be too exact. There we go. So we're going to cover this with bushes and and plants and stuff anyway, so you won't really see too much in there. Underneath here we're going to prop this up with oops, don't let it come through the hut, see, inside there. So just undo that last click. And just keep shaping it. That's basically what you do. You just shape it up. Pull this up, and we want to sort of really pull it up back here now, because this is going to be our sort of edge of our world. And if you look at our map, there's nothing behind here, nothing at all. So it's just emptiness. So we can build this up here, so that when we come to plants and trees, it will look pretty cool. Some of them being high up and looming over the tree, over the hut. Yeah, so yeah, let's just turn that off. So just keep painting till you're happy with it, basically. And don't worry about the roughness, because this is terrain. It's supposed to be quite rough. So there are techniques we can use to smooth it out. So if we want to. You can do this quite quickly in some packages. You can just paint random mountains and quickly do it. But this is a bit of a sculpting exercise. You want to shape it so as it looks cool when you're coming in here. This is going to present itself when you walk along here and you're standing on this hill here. You want this to light up and be a bit of a centerpiece. And if you look at our concept, that's kind of the angle we want, roughly. There's a size issue there, but that's not to say our hut's not in exactly the right place. We can move that around too. We can take this down a little bit. Smooth that out more, so it's a bit of a hill, a bit softer, it's a bit harsh. Yeah, that's shaping up quite nicely. So what I'll do now, just go a bit crazy up behind here. So if we turn the opacity up, make the brush a bit bigger, and just sweep around, because I want to block out the edge of the world, basically, which is all over here. And if you look at this, it does look like you can go beyond, but the intention was to have something behind here which is the edge of the world. So it could be a rock face, like we built those big rocks and we're going to use them in there. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm sort of creating this edge of the world. Be careful, because this is going to be forest in here, so let's just bring that opacity down a little bit again. So just take that down a little bit. We do want it a bit bumpy and a bit, make sure the light catches it really nice. So our path is going to come up here. Turn our brush size down a bit. Oops, undo that. So it's going to come up here, and it's going to go over this way. Yeah, centerpiece. You know, this is a centerpiece, so you know you want to take your time, get it right. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. It looks like it's going to be quite far away from the hut compared to my concept, 'cause I'm fairly close there. So, oops. I might just bring my tree in just to have a look. So if I go to my white box, so I've got white box, oak tree 1, white box. I think this was for here. So let's just bring that in, like so. Let's rotate it. What was that? That's about right, actually. Let's just move it over there. So if my dude is standing here, you see I'm quite far away compared to the concept. You know, I'm quite far away from the hut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually move this closer to it. Just keep moving it until I'm happy with it. That's better. See, if you look at my composition there, you know, so if I walk in here, it's going to be roughly on my right hand line of my rule of thirds, which is really nice. We'll have the light flooding out here, and these will be on fire, and that will look really cool. Okay, so that's a good spot. I'm going to leave that there, and I'm going to now go back to my terrain and start bringing it up around this tree, because that is where I want it. Oops. Soften my brush. Go onto here, press shift so that I can sort of, that's better. Sort of level this out a little bit. There we go. And when we did the detail tree, we'll have big roots coming out here and big roots sort of going down here. It will look really cool. So let's just pull that out a little bit more. Right, so you can see what I'm doing here. You've got to grips with all the tools. You've got your concept art. So what I want you to do is just continue sculpting this area until you're happy with it. I'm going to do the same, and you can see it's already starting to take shape. The next time you hear me, this will be roughly done, and I want you to do the same. So good luck with that. Okay, so this is what I've got so far. What I've done is I've got the camera, the main camera here, and I've positioned it in, you can see the preview down here, positioned it in the position of our concept art here. That way I can move things around and sculpt my landscape to fit the view. So if I press play now, you can see it sort of fits quite nicely, and it's getting very close to this now. I've already noticed a couple of things I want to change. This hut is, I don't think it's, if you look at that, it's quite tall compared to the length. Whereas mine's fairly narrow. It might be the roof is too far forward. I think it needs to be taller or shorter. So what I was going to do now is bring in the porch like this and position it. So the first thing to do is get it orientated in the same way as this. If we click on the hut, go to your inspector, in rotation Y, just select that, right click, copy, click on your porch, go to your Y, right click, paste. So it automatically sits at the same orientation as the hut. Now just snap it to the hut so it sits against it in the right place. Click and make sure you got move selected up here. Hold down V for vertex, and you'll see if you move your cursor around, it snaps to vertices on that object. So just let it rest on the bottom right corner here and move it to the hut where it would connect, and you'll find that those verts snap together, and there it is in position. Oh, it looks better with the porch on. Actually, I need to slightly adjust the terrain there, but it's not too bad. Yeah. So if we now look at that, make sure your scale here is on 1. And there it is, it's coming together. I'm going to move that back slightly. I'm just going to move the camera back a little bit, and I can see it down here in my little view as I move it around a bit. Just want to move it that way a little bit to bring that tree on a bit more. Let's have a look at that. Much better. Don't worry about all these weird shadows. We're going to fix all that later on. I've actually got the shadows falling in the right direction. Light coming from this way. You can see the shadows kind of match the concept. So for now, I hope you got this far. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer. And I'll see you in the next lecture.